homeopathy offers, in my opinion, all of the alternatives to vaccination and more, and I really cannot strongly recommend enough that you all look into homeopathy. Now, the origins of homeopathy are attributed to a guy called Samuel Hahnemann, who at some later stage I'll more than happily share some of his findings with you. But Hahnemann himself is riding on the back of others that came before him. I think a man well worth mentioning at the moment, who's one of the early leaders in an alternative route of medicine, guy who's now known as, although this isn't his name, but it's a nom de plume given to him, I believe, by one of his detractors at the time, Paracelsus. His actual name's considerably longer than that. It's got a bombastus in it somewhere, Hohenheim or something. But he's the guy that kind of broke ranks with the established medical practices of the day, and through his own empirical research started offering others alternative means of addressing their illnesses and whatnot of the day, and gained a lot of accolade through it. Unfortunately, he wasn't the most socially adept person of his day, and that helped keep a lot of his findings, a lot of his writings hidden for quite some time. But look into homeopathy, and I'll actually read you out a book that I think, out of all the authors on homeopathy, offers the novice the quickest practical insight into the use of homeopathy, and it's called The Complete Homeopathy Handbook, A Guide to Everyday Healthcare, by Miranda Castro. And I really do advocate that anyone who wants to take a bit more of an active role in the health of themselves and their family and friends and whoever else you can get onto it, to go out and get yourself this book, The Complete Homeopathy Handbook, A Guide to Everyday Healthcare by Miranda Castro. And within those pages you will have all the information that you need to allow you to have a gentle introduction to homeopathy, and a lot of the more commonly used remedies, and like we get from Walking Turtle in her shows, the materials that these remedies are made from are very, very wide ranging. The difference being that in homeopathic terms, a chemist will tell you that there is nothing of any worth in a homeopathic remedy. It has to be a placebo, because using their means of gauging potencies, they'll tell you that anything that's diluted, I think it's more than 6 times or more than 12 times, that's the centesimal scale, cannot have any of the originating substance in it whatsoever. You go past a mathematical number, it's referred to as is it Agordo's number, something along those lines, perhaps. Some of you mathematicians out there will know, but it says that once you go beyond that number, you've divided the original component part up so small that there can't be any trace of any molecule left at that sort of dilution. And I believe the 12th potency, which is like taking a drop of the liquid remedy and adding it to 99 drops of distilled water or alcohol, and then succussing it, shaking it up, and taking another drop of that and adding it to another 99 drops. If you do that 12 times, you've already reached the equivalent of putting 1 drop into all the oceans of all the waters of the world. And when you look at it like that, you can see where the chemist is coming from. Well, come on, how can a dilution like that contain anything of any benefit. Well, this is where the alternative bit comes in. The science of homeopathy explains that what you're actually doing is you're not using any part of the physical structure. You're not using any physical property from the original remedy in the higher potencies in homeopathy, but you're carrying, how can I say, the energy of it, its imprint, its force. And as esoteric as that sound, stay with me on this, because a homeopathic remedy that's diluted something like 50,000 times, never mind 12 times on the centesimal scale, 50,000 times on the centesimal scale, is actually a very, very powerful remedy in homeopathic terms, not to be messed with. And there's dilutions that go way beyond that. But in Hahnemann's time, he tended to deal with potencies up to, for the most part, 30, the 30C range, which is what you can avail yourself of at Boots. I believe they do the 6C and the 30C range. And Hahnemann did most of his work using up to the 30th potency. I believe towards the end of his life he was up to the 200th potency, but primarily he was working with 30C dilution remedies, a lot of which you can get straight off the shelf at Boots. But what you don't want to do is just go in and buy them off of Boots. You want a little bit of background in when and how to use them, and that's where this complete homeopathy handbook by Miranda Castro comes in. It is, I honestly think, the quickest way to introduce anyone to the practical uses of homeopathy. It goes into depth about what the remedy is actually made from and the symptoms that the remedy itself is designed to cure. And the way a homeopath goes about working out what a remedy cures is they take students, people that have decided to learn homeopathy, and they turn them into guinea pigs. Basically, they give them a remedy that they take repeatedly, and they monitor their own symptoms, and then are brought in regularly for checkup